welcome. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. So we've all talked about the trend of evolution in the sports industry. So many people, including us out here, have a great deal of passion for the industry that we work in. Clicker. And while it's not scripted entertainment, it is definitely a form of storytelling for the most part. And so Dolby technology can bring a deeper connection to the fan through the sport that they love, the team that they love, and of course the players that they love. And we do that through the combination of Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So I haven't heard anything about audio today, so I'm going to spearhead that conversation. And so, again, the industry has super evolved over the last few years, and that's from a business perspective and technology. You know, we heard a lot today about all the changes that were necessary due to COVID, and that just created a big wave of changes that will continue, I think. So we see this as an ecosystem, right? From sports to other entertainment, users are navigating different platforms now to get their content. So broadcast TV, pay TV, streaming services, there are a variety of different ways to access content. And users, especially depending on the demographic, are accessing it in more personalized ways, right? So on different devices. And so it's become challenging for sports organizations, for networks to navigate these complex ecosystems. And in addition, layer on just the business models. Broadcast TV is competing with streaming services for viewership and, of course, ultimately revenue. And in some cases, they complement, right? You'll have a network that has a streaming service. But again, how does the consumer navigate how to get to those, and what is the business model? In addition, we've seen a lot of change over this last year or so with the streaming providers offering licensing content and delivering to their subscribers to grow their subscribership and reduce the churn. And so we've seen Major League Baseball on Apple TV this season and Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. And the third parties tell us that will continue to grow over time. And so likewise, the trend of pay TV is declining. The cord cutting is continuing. The cord nevers are coming up in age. And so that is a continuing trend that we're seeing. And more people, again, you saw some presentations this morning, users, especially millennials and Gen Z, are shifting to different platforms to consume their entertainment, and they're doing watch parties and apps, and and they're looking at data. So it's shifting to a digital and social experience. So I think the key that I've heard over and over again in the industry is you have to be where the users are. You have to be where the fan is. The fan is looking for the games. I hear that from my friends, like, I don't know where to find a certain game. But ultimately, you have to go to the fan. And so traditionally, that's been the living room, and that continues to be the case, especially for big events like World Cup and Super Bowl. But you're seeing more people utilize mobile-first devices, especially I have teenagers, and that's their screen of choice. I don't get it, but we have to go along with that. Ultimately, there are people still accessing content in their car, obviously music, podcasting, but sports. I mean, I have to say, if I'm going from point A to point B, I tune into Sirius XM or even that old school AM radio to get my Giants game. And then the cinema. So while it is an entertainment for movies, exhibitors are finding new ways to bring people into their theaters. And they're having viewing parties for sports, more outside of the US, we're seeing this, and then also live concerts. So now I'm going to take a few minutes and just talk about the timeline in Dolby and our evolution, in the industry. So Dolby's been in sports for 35 years now. Some may remember more than others, but back in 1987, we worked with CBS Sports and NFL on the very first production of what was called Dolby Surround, with trailblazers like Fred Aldis and Mike Ricosa. And it was pretty much a game changer of how the sound was experienced for a live football game. And so we iterated on that technology, and soon after came out with what was to become Dolby Digital and 5.1. And we delivered, in partnership with ABC and Monday Night Football, the very first Monday Night Football game in 5.1. And that, of course, went on to become the standard for all live sports and entertainment moving forward. So then we iterated on that technology. Over time, we developed Dolby Digital Plus, which was the predecessor, and it created efficiencies in compression and coding, and we also created Dolby Atmos technology, which rode on top of Dolby Digital Plus to create an immersive experience. So we went beyond 5.1. We were able to go to the internet because of the compression, and now we were able to support Dolby Atmos through streaming services. And then we started working in live production, and we developed tools to create for live events. And then in 2016, we worked and partnered with the folks at NBC on the Rio Games to do a trial. They were looking at HDR at the time, at the beginning of that journey, and they also wanted to look at Atmos to go along with that. And so we did the first trial with them back in 2016 and delivered that with Comcast back to the States. And then the following year, again, as the technology was evolving, more trucks had capabilities, the folks at BT Sport decided that they wanted to deliver Premier League in 4K with Atmos. And so in 2017, they delivered a full season for the first time in Dolby Atmos technology with 4K. And then, of course, NBC, back at it again as they innovate with each iteration of the games, continued to evolve their HDR technology and delivered Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision in a national feed back to the States and through Comcast. And so that was the first delivery to the home in a limited edition, but it now had Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos technology. And then later that year, we went over to Russia to support the 2018 World Cup and worked again in 4K and Dolby Atmos, and that was delivered for the first time in a free-to-air offering with TVP in Poland. And then we get to what everybody talked about today, which was COVID. And so you heard about the production side of everything for Tokyo, but of course Tokyo 2020 became 2021, so there was a cushion of time that, yes, even the distribution team wanted to take a look at what they could do to advance the technology. And so what that team did was they evolved the workflows for distribution, including their key affiliates, so that they could reach those affiliates in local markets with that high-quality feed in Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision. And what does that mean? That gives them further scale with this implementation that they've worked so hard on, and it also brings local advertising, which equals revenue. So that was a big step forward with the extra time that they had. And then finally, I'll just jump to today. So 2022 is the World Cup. You'll hear a lot more about that from the team at Fox. But they're delivering HDR, and Comcast is delivering that here in the States in Dolby Vision. And I'll talk a little bit more, but there are others supporting that with Dolby Atmos. So Dolby Atmos, if you don't know, because I haven't heard a lot about audio today, it really reinvents the way a fan can experience the sport of their choice. And it really immerses the fan. So it's about as close as being at the game as you can get. So you're sitting in your living room or on your device or with your headphones, and you have the roar of the audience supporting you, or maybe your adversaries. You can hear the PA coming from above you, and it really changes the game, no pun intended. But important as we develop this technology is that it adapts to a wide variety of devices that preserves the intent of what the A1 is creating in the truck. So the goal is no matter what device you're listening on, it's going to sound as if, the way that the mixer wanted it to sound. So that was important for us. And Dolby Vision unlocks the full potential of HDR, providing ultra-vivid colors, sharper contrast, the darkest blacks, the brightest whites, and then a volume of color saturation in between that provides rich detail that now, when you saw that game in person, that jersey actually looks the way it should on the screen. And it looks the way it should on any screen, whether it's a high-end OLED screen or a small mobile device. And that's what we bring to, again, bring the fan closer to the experience that they love, that they maybe can't be at the game for. So I talked a little bit on the Dolby timeline of all the games, but I just want to recognize that we are now, in a pretty short order of time, have been delivering the world's most popular sports across the globe. Some I didn't mention so far is the Champions League and the round of 16 in Dolby Atmos. Bundesliga launched a major campaign and is delivering 4K Atmos for all of their matches. Roland Garros has been doing Dolby Atmos for a couple of years now as well. Yeah, and most importantly, we can't do it without our premier broadcast providers. So we have partnered with the networks, ESPN, NBC, Fox, all the ones you see listed here, to deliver those experiences. And of course, the pay TV operators. In some cases, pay TV operators pass through the feed that comes in, and in some cases, they're actually creating, like in the case of Comcast, who creates Dolby Vision. And so millions of people can now experience the World Cup in the latest Dolby technologies, in either Dolby Vision or Dolby Atmos. And this is the biggest scale since we've launched the technology to date, and we're pretty excited. And so it's available in 8 countries or territories as we speak. And most importantly, it's not just a streaming solution. We have streaming solutions listed here. We have over-the-air broadcast TV. We have pay TV. So various distribution points, and they all work with Dolby technology. So the question I get asked is, well, how do I get that? There aren't many devices out there. In just under 10, or just about 10 years' time of launching Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos into the living room, there are over 1.2 billion capable devices to view Dolby Vision on today. You may have one in your home and you don't know it, but well, this audience probably does, and I hope you do. And also over 1.5 billion devices in Dolby Atmos. And the beauty of this, again, is no longer do you need to have an expensive 5.1 audio system. You can get Dolby Atmos in a Dolby Vision television for as low as $299. It depends on what kind of sale is happening, and it's a decent experience. Hisense and TCL sell really good quality TVs at a low price point. And of course, for the killer theater system, you can absolutely go all out and get a full 7.1.4 system. So there's a price point for everybody, and it's still a very accessible technology and a great experience, again, from end to end. And the important thing I should say is that we do test and certify every licensable technology. So every hardware device that supports Dolby has to be certified and tested by us. Wrong way? And we're not stopping there. We work with and partner with some of the device manufacturers out there that are our partners to evolve and build out new SKUs, new form factors. So anybody that came to the DTV audio workshop this past summer, the folks from Sky brought out one of their Sky Glass monitors. So it's a TV bundle with the Sky TV service and Netflix with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, and it looks great. Additionally, we're working with manufacturers, LG and Vodafone, we just list a few here, to build out a new combo device, which is a combination set-top box and sound bar, or sound box as Vodafone calls it, the video sound box. And so these are coupled bundled devices that is an upsell to add value to the pay TV industry so that they can differentiate their service and provide a really compelling experience. And in addition, in over 2 years' time, we started to work with and have now announced with major premium brands bringing Dolby Atmos to the car. What better place to experience Atmos when you're driving along? These are launching with music services as well as podcasting, but I mean, it seems to make sense to me that sports is an evolution that should be here as well. And a lot of these models are the higher-end premium brands or electric-only vehicles, but we see that over time coming into more mainstream models. And again, it's only been 2 years, so we're excited about that technology. And then finally, Dolby Cinema. It's the absolute best way to experience your entertainment. And I mentioned before that their exhibitors are using these theaters for more than just movies. They're doing watch parties, live concert viewing. And in fact, in Madrid a couple weeks ago, they had a viewing party in a Dolby Cinema in Madrid, so of the World Cup. And so you're starting to see that more and more as well. And that's it. So thank you so much for the time.